Uh, what's my intro again? Hello and welcome. There we go. Hello and welcome to the It's Hockey Night podcast. My name is Brenton, and I am joined by the Christian Wulaunen to my Jack Hughes. Mike, how you going, Mike?
I don't even, who was that again?
Christian Wulaunen. Wulanen.
There's a part of there's a part of me that knows how to say that player's name, but now I've lost it
Now you've
completely.
lost it forever. This is the thing that I do. I do this to myself. So, so you have zero chance. I'm putting Willanen's highlights on the Twitter right now. Go Brent yourself. So if you want to go check him out, you can go do so. But yeah, seems like a little bit of a prospect there. I don't want to, I don't want to throw shade at him, but yeah, Ottawa's the best for that. There's this YouTube channel called Sens Prospects, and they just literally run through every highlight of any play that they did in any league that year. So easy for me to just copy and paste that. So yeah, go check him out. But how are you going, Mike? What's news? What's going on? What's cracking? What's the 90210?
Oh, I see what you did there. Well, Brenton, I don't know. I think I'm done. I'm just gonna quit on the podcast. To be honest, I realize that we're in this terrible pandemic, and that we're in the playoffs again. Our team, just me and you, as in our team. Our podcast is back, but yeah, no, I'm just gonna quit for no reason because I'm an unlovable bastard.
Well,
That's it.
yeah. So obviously, Mike is doing his best at leaning us toward the John Chayka has quit the Arizona Coyotes, um, which has been an extremely weird 5 days for the franchise. So, for those who don't know, I'll catch you up very quickly. There was rumors he met with Taylor Hall last Friday. The owner, sorry, met with Taylor Hall last Friday, and everyone was like, "Why is the GM not there? Is the GM on the out?" And then there's reports that he wasn't at training, and then there's more things of, "Oh, he's been let go," and then turns out no, he's the one that's quit. He's cleaned up his desk, and what, 5 days later, we finally get a statement from both parties.
Which is just the weirdest. Normally I get annoyed when people are like, "Oh, they had the intern put this out." But like, they might really have had the intern put this one out. The statement as follows, because it's a short one, folks. John Chayka has quit as general manager and president of hockey operations of the Arizona Coyotes. The club is disappointed in his actions and his timing as the Coyotes prepare to enter the NHL's hub city of Edmonton, where the team will begin postseason play for the first time since 2012. Nice little shot in there. Chayka has chosen to quit on a strong and competitive team. Okay. And a dedicated staff and the Arizona Coyotes fans, the greatest fans in the NHL. Yeah, I mean, so that's all they have to say on Chayka, essentially, which is like, okay, wow, man. I think I sent a text message similarly that like when my ex of 6 years left me. So like this is this one burns, I guess. I don't know.
By the way, the one thing that I giggled at, like I just woke up, so I just for those who don't know, like it's 7:30 in the morning Australian time. So when I got up this morning about 6:45, um, I audibly laughed when I heard when they wrote Arizona fans are the best fans in the NHL. I legitimately laughed.
Like, you don't
No,
have to put that in every press release,
yeah,
like
we
they know
really
that,
don't.
right?
We
Like,
really
we
don't.
don't
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
don't paint the target,
You
don't
can
be
say
Wile E. Coyote.
you can say that we have good loyal fans. You could honestly say that,
Yeah,
and we don't just everyone needs to use the best. Did you see John Chayka's statement?
I did not.
Here we go. So this is where there's drama, a little bit of juicy little giblets. Um, The past 4 years have been the most enjoyable of my life in Arizona. I became a husband and a father, which I don't think has anything to do with the Arizona Coyotes, but thanks,
Hope
thanks,
not.
John. Thanks, John. While working as hard as possible to make the Coyotes a Stanley Cup contender, I love our players, coaches, staff, and fans. I very much wish I could be with the team in Edmonton. Sadly, the situation created by ownership made that an impossibility.
Wow.
That's all I intend to say on this matter right now. A fuller, more detailed explanation may be necessary in the near future. Until then, I wish the Coyotes the best of luck. And then it's like, yeah, Catherine, who I assume is his wife. Wish to congratulate Steve Sullivan, which I am over the moon that he's a manager.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to that part yet.
No,
Let's
I'm so happy that he's the general manager. Um,
wow.
yeah, so I mean, my original speculation, because this literally landed just as we hit record. Um, Sadly, the situation created by ownership made it an impossibility. So, and we heard a lot of things have linked to that this divorce. I mean, the word divorce for some reason's been used, but
This is very apt
yeah,
considering these statements.
yeah, aren't like this was not well received by both parties. So I really wonder if he was part of this franchise going forward when the owner met with Taylor Hall.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
And that,
this is I don't know. That seems likely,
yeah,
but that seems to be the biggest linchpin. Because, like, really, what else is on the line for this team? You know, they don't really have any like real blue chip prospects
no,
coming up or anything. Like, they're kind of stagnant, and like you just kind of fire a guy for that, you know. But like the Coyotes aren't a team that's flush with a lot of cash. Like they're not going to do that. So this is definitely some sort of amicable like parting of the way. Well, not amicable, but it's a parting of the ways.
but
And it's interesting because Friedman put out an article like an hour before all this news broke that apparently Chayka they gave permission for him to interview somewhere
yeah,
recently, but it's not with another NHL team. It's like
no,
not a lateral move.
no, it wasn't a lateral move in position. They never said it wasn't an NHL team.
Yeah, well, that's what he's saying. He doesn't believe it's another NHL team,
Oh,
which
okay,
sounds likely because Chayka doesn't exactly like his background isn't just NHL. He's done stuff with like MLS and
yeah,
different leagues. So like I wouldn't be surprised to just see him fuck off to like soccer or something else, like where he can pretend that he's like an analytics guy, even though like he's never done anything publicly or like no one's ever seen what his work is. Like he's never published anything, but he somehow gets kind of labeled this analytic guy by like guys like John Shannon who don't understand it and just want to be mad about shit, mad about
yeah.
math and facts and things. So
I mean, I think he is to a
it's
little
gonna
bit.
be ugly.
But I think he is an analytics guy a little bit, but there's a point where you can't have the meme where like all the numbers are going across and then trade for Derek Stepan. Like it doesn't it
Yeah,
doesn't work that way.
right.
I would have loved to. So I made a video on this 5 days ago that it would be a bad move for them to fire chayka. Obviously, this is extremely different, and I made several more videos on the matter just to sort of fix it up because obviously I said it would be a bad move.
It's a
And that,
developing situation.
it
I'm
is.
hearing
It's very fluid. It's very
sources are saying.
I now have an interview with the Arizona Coyotes one fan.
Hey, this is about to get ugly between. I mean, like everybody is kind of shits on the Coyotes fans
They do.
enough, but
But
like I feel like we're about to enter into another analytics war. If hockey weren't going on right now, it would absolutely be like Thomas Drance and all the Doms and like Micah Blake McCarty against like the John Shannons and like the all the beat reporters of the world.
man, that's a Twitter account that I have not revisited, John Shannon, in quite a bit, and uh, perfectly fine
I
doing
don't know
so.
why I keep singling him out. He's just like the only other old Canadian guy that I can think
Yeah,
of
he can't.
that
Yeah,
still, I think, has a job at Sportsnet. I'm not sure.
no, I think he got let go. I
Did
could be
he?
wrong, but
Okay. Well, even like
um,
Friedman. these days. As he gets older, is getting worse in that department.
Starting to get there. Yeah, the eye test and all that jazz that he yeah, he's
I
starting to
really
see that.
I believe in gut feel, you
Gut
know.
feel, that's it. Yeah, gut feel.
I just have so much time for guys that just go by their gut, and it's just, oh, shut up, just so fucking self-important and shit. I just can't stand these fucking people anymore.
So the one thing I would say, the reason why I would say it'd be give one more year to chayka, when obviously that was the news that was flowing. I mean, no one could have just with that information that he wasn't there, no one thought that he'd terminated his own contract. Especially at this time, it's so weird. Like I just think that there's something in the background there, but. This team, when he took over, if you look at the moves that he made, I think he was told by ownership, or at least his plan was to try win the draft lottery for the first 2 or 3 years. And the last probably 12 months, maybe 18, that has been okay, let's abandon that. Let's now start slowly building towards a playoff team. And they've slowly starting to finally pick up offense. But this team was fundamentally, and I'm going to swear, fucked in a very major way in they could not score goals. Like their whole history since the lockout is so dismal. They've had one player score over 80 points since I think 2009. And they're one of three teams this decade, in the last decade gone, to not get a player to score 80 or more points. And they had one player in one season score 30 or more goals, and that was Verbata. Which just,
Yeah,
ooh, ooh.
it's not good.
When I say Verbata, did it just when I saw that I was like, I completely forgot he even played in the league.
Yeah, yeah. He was the highlight of like a really bad trade deadline a couple of years ago. It was like Radim Verbata and Michael Grabner, like those guys are like
Yeah,
your top tier trade bait. It's a bad year, but that was the Coyotes,
that was it. Yeah.
top scorer. Like so, it's and again, we've already spent more time talking about the Coyotes than anyone truly should for
But
that reason.
I just wanted to get it out there. Like it's not an easy fix to fix a team that has always struggled to score.
Yeah.
Like the time that they
Well, I
made it to
mean,
the conference final, they won every game 2-1. Like it was so boring.
yeah. Drafting is going to help, and that's not solely on the GM. Like they seem to have reshuffled their scouting department,
Mm.
and like the draft with Barrett Hayton seemed to kind of be like a turnaround for the better. Because like again, let's not forget about like that kid came in halfway through the year and
Mm.
was a point per game player. I think like he's probably like the best draft, part of the best draft that maybe they've ever had. So and this is a pretty key moment for them. Like if they can convince Taylor Hall to resign there, that could really turn things around for that franchise. If they get a marquee
Massively.
player like that
Yeah.
to sign a deal like that, that's massive for them. Like
Yeah.
the implications are just so much huger than Taylor Hall himself. So this is a big time for them,
I
and you're gonna have little Stevie Sullivan in there to do it.
so
You
happy
know,
that he's a general manager. You
did they
saw the
ever
little
play? That's
picture.
what I, look, because Sullivan retired what, like 5 years ago, and I
I
can't
would say
remember.
that's too soon, but
I think he
let's take a look.
was he a Devil last? And
Oh
what was he
boy, I
before?
thought it
I'm
was a
trying to
predator,
figure
but I
out.
could be wrong.
Was he okay? Because my whole thing is, did he and Taylor Hall ever play together?
Did he and Taylor Hall ever play together?
Is there like
Oh,
a
that's it. Yeah, there's always that stupid link,
because
isn't it?
I seem to
He was a
remember,
devil. You are completely right.
but it was. I mean, obviously Taylor Hall was a Devil for a year. I don't think their paths crossed, right?
I don't think so. Not in 2013. Oh,
Yeah,
I love this. I love this.
where
Well, I love this so much. We're just gonna take because that trade it'd be around then that terrible trade for Russell.
yeah, I mean he's younger than Yarmir Yager. He's
Nah,
46 years old.
yeah, he missed him by a couple of years.
So yeah, he missed him like a couple of years.
Man, 7 years ago Sullivan played. I thought it was like 4.
Yeah, I know. It seems like a lot sooner. But I mean, they were in the league together at the same time, which, it's a stretch. There's no real connection here other than they both played for the Devils and the Coyotes. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's probably something to that too. Having a player of some renown. I mean, Steve Sullivan used to be like not quite at the level of Taylor Hall, but like he wasn't like a grinder either his whole career. So
No, he had a few
having
70-point seasons.
someone in there as your general manager to kind of advocate for your organization and your team to a guy like Hall is probably pretty important.
Yeah, I loved him as a Penguin. I know it was one season, but like he was fine for an older guy. He almost got 50 points.
Yeah,
That's all he needed.
yeah. He's
All
one
you
of
need.
those extremely memorable dudes that like literally just had like one cup of coffee with the team.
Yeah, but you just remember that cup. That's all. But yeah, no, it was it. Yeah, it's a wild story. This that just seems to change almost every. I pretty much make a video and it's horrendously outdated on this. Every time I make a video on this subject. But so there'll obviously be another one today because I'll keep going with it. I wanted to just to get away with this before we go our next subject. I mentioned that three teams had not had a player score 80 points or more in a season since 2010. Can you name me the other two teams? One of them shocked me because I would have not.
Wait, since 2010?
Mhm. So the last decade,
Wow, and they haven't had a player score more than 80 points.
more than 80 points. Yeah, there's two more teams that haven't done it.
Um,
One of them's an easy, like one of them, like when I say it, you'll be like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. But
is one of them Nashville?
no, no, they
I guess
managed
no.
to
I
get
guess
one player over 80.
yeah.
There's a lot of teams that did it once,
It
like
just had like
Minnesota.
a one-off. Yeah, like
Yeah,
a weird that year. It wasn't like Ryan Johansson
yeah,
have like his first year there had like 74 assists or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Shit. New Jersey,
No, Taylor Hall,
right?
the Hart
Oh
year.
yeah, that his hard year.
Yeah,
Shit.
it's a hard
It was
one.
like
You won't.
Minnesota Wild. Minnesota
No,
Wild.
Niederreiter got it once.
He had over 80 points there?
Yeah, once.
What?
Yeah, I think it was him.
Oh gosh.
I think it was him because that was my go-to. Because I was like, when I was making the
Yeah.
video about how bad their offense is, I was like, oh my god, they haven't had a player score over 80 points in a decade. I was like, they must be the only team, and I went through it, and I was like, oh, the Minnesota Wild would definitely be that team. And I was like, oh my god, even they have one.
Is one of like it can't be the Panthers, right? Because that's like the
No,
other.
they had one. They had a couple, I think.
I'm just gonna go through every NHL team at
Yeah.
this point.
The Golden Knights is one of them.
Mark
'Cause that,
Stone didn't get 80.
sorry?
Mark Stone didn't get 80 last year.
No. No, but he was traded, so he didn't get 80 for the franchise.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Okay. All right. We're doing. All
I
right.
didn't. I didn't even think he got 80 points, but yeah.
So them, the Coyotes, and the Kraken.
No.
That's
I love
they count them.
the creativity on that one. I've got to check the Minnesota Wild before I. It was the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like, because who would be the guy? I mean, Tarasenko would be the guy that would get you above 80, but his injuries. They've had guys on par on pace, like even O'Reilly. But he's more of like a 60 kind of point guy. But yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I was Eric Stahl. He got 80 in one season.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Which is so sad.
That was like after he played for the Rangers for a year and was garbage.
Yeah. But how crazy is that? Like the team that just won the cup did not have an 80 point. Anyone get 80 points?
You say just won the cup as in they just won it, but it feels like 9 years ago. So.
Oh, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah, because I was thinking about that. I was like, what? Really?
we would have crowned a new champion by now.
it would have been like old news. It's the end of July. I would have been like, all right, I'm tired of hearing about this fucking team. They'd have like the parade would have been over, and like we'd have gotten the all the gear and the documentary and shit.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right there. They have the third longest cup run now, cup reign, for a single cup winner. So yeah, the other one was the Spanish flu and the lockout. Where like to win a cup and just hold that particular cup, which is sad. We have a 30-second team, Mike.
We do the Houston Oilers, right?
No,
That's
Houston is the team is the place that Gary Bettman threads to move shitty teams to
that's right. Yeah.
for bargaining reasons. They're never getting a franchise. They're just the name that Bettman's like.
It's just like yet another dagger to Quebec City because like he won't even use them as leverage.
No.
They just like don't even get mentioned, even though it's never gonna happen anyway.
No, that's it. Yeah, so the Seattle Kraken. Before I get your thoughts, can we just, whenever we do this again, when some billionaire comes along and goes, yeah, I'll give you $900 million, because you know the NHL's not going to be able to turn this down, and we're definitely going to more like the kid in a candy store that's being offered a lollipop. They're not going to be able to say no when some rich person goes,
Oh yeah,
I have 800 million in this back pocket, just burning a hole.
love to put an NHL team in Hamilton or Muskoka.
It would be, I don't know, somewhere else. Definitely won't be in Canada. That's the thing. Everyone says like Canadian hockey, rah rah, but there's no rich millionaires coming to the.
That's true. Well, there might be now. Like once our economy collapses, holy shit! Look out, because Canada's taking over, baby. We're all gonna be drinking maple syrup for breakfast.
With these intros into the team, can we just like forever have a rule that the CEO, like the owner, does not get to just waffle on for 35 minutes and just get to the point?
Yeah, show us your stupid video. Show us the. I do like aside from all like the 900 speeches. It was like I got my like the first day of freshman year when I got my schedule. I just looked at this thing. They were like, it was like 9 a.m. logo reveal. 9:50 CEO Jerry Bruckheimer is going to be speaking about the legend of the Kraken. At 10:30 we're going to have a class, Hockey 101. Oh my god, it's just real just hack shit. Like this is for the market. Don't show everyone this. We don't give a shit.
Yeah. I like the fact that they said all the construction workers can go see the first game for free, but when?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool thing. Like this is going to be a really progressive team in the way that they do a lot of. I mean, they're already naming their arena climate change arena. So like, so many old dudes have their panties in a bundle right now. Like they're just they're so mad online about everything. Just wait.
I also like that they're in the same division as Vancouver. I think if they're both good and have a playoff series, there's a good rivalry there. A really good rivalry. And a good, like, America versus Canada rivalry as well. But what did you think of the name and the logo?
Well, I know we have different opinions on this.
I've changed my mind a bit.
Oh,
I actually think it's a very similar thing to what you went through.
Fake news, Breton waffles again. You heard it here first, folks. No, it's good, man. I don't, I know that a lot of people don't like it. My barometer is usually like if my dad hates it, it's probably good. So, and he fucking hates this. It's good. So like, what are we attacking first? Like, are we talking name? Let's just do name.
Name, yeah.
Look, it could be better, right? Like, it's not. It's weird. It's kind of a weird thing. I'm in agreement there. I'm just like when you first heard it, it was like, oh, that's cool because it's different. But now that it's had some time to settle, I'm just like, ah.
And the fact that they overlooked tugboats and didn't have a cartoon tugboat on their jersey.
The fact that they overlooked needles. Excuse me. Come on.
Yeah, I think they're avoiding that whole crackhead thing, and I think just calling themselves the Needles is really going to be hard to, really going to be tough to,
Pretty unescapable there. Yeah.
yeah,
Look, it's fine. It's Jerry Bruckheimer. Like, if they probably were never going to be called anything but the Kraken, it seems.
yeah.
So,
My
what do
favorite
you?
thing is they're like, oh, it did very well in a poll, and then when you find the poll, it got eliminated, and it was a bracket style thing,
Yeah. Again,
got eliminated immediately.
Friedman shilling for the NHL and all its partners and brands and everything said that, oh well, they did so well in all these polls that they did locally.
Yeah,
No, it didn't.
and
Did
you
it?
find the poll,
No
and
one wanted this.
it immediately got destroyed by evergreens.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
would have been fantastic. Like, it's kind of like on that same weird, like, it doesn't mean anything, like the
yeah,
Wild, but it sounds a lot cooler, and I bet they would have come up with a lot better logo than the Wild had. So I would have been fine with evergreens.
so fine.
I saw that. I didn't want sockeyes or
No,
like Sasquatch. Like the Sasquatch would have been, I don't know, maybe the least bad of the four that they were going with, but like
yeah.
they none of them were like really great or exciting.
I mean, there's also 10% of me that's like, well, it's not racist, so there's something. Like, we've managed to get somewhere here.
Right, it's not the Blackhawks. It will be like it's already turning into like very real racist shit, but
Yeah,
that's hockey. Hashtag that's hockey.
that's hockey.
Um,
Yep. But yeah, no, it's I just think like I just don't like these names that don't end in S. It's better than the Wild. I think we can. I mean, I've shit on the. I mean, this podcast has pretty much just been a platform for me to shit on the Minnesota Wild in every way, shape, or form. Even though I
yeah,
have
I
one of their
mean
jerseys now, but
it's
yeah,
pretty much like the anti-Wild podcast. But again, like Wild fans know this. They embrace this. They know that it sucks. But they
yeah,
also had like one of the coolest names in sports history with the North Star. So I guess it's just the price you
yeah.
pay. I don't.
I didn't realize everyone loved that, but because obviously, like, I have no affiliation with the North Star itself. But it's a pretty cool name when you look into it.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. I don't. I guess because they turned into the Dallas Stars, they couldn't, and there was already, but still, like,
Bettman would have been like, "Oh, I can't have two."
I honestly don't, teams like we're seeing in football and a couple of places now that are going through these rebrands,
Oh yes, it's
like
one of those teams in
businesses.
Washington by chance.
Right, yes, the Washington football of Washington football clubs of the club of football that is in Washington. Uh, like businesses do this shit all the time. When they're not
Yeah.
successful, they rebrand. And like it's kind of a lame thing that you see them do it. Honestly, it looks desperate sometimes, but
Mm.
man, when something is like as universally hated as the Minnesota Wild and like who's just middling in just nothing for 2 decades,
Yeah.
like wouldn't you just think like, all right, let's tear the entire organization down from top to bottom and restart.
And restart, hit the restart button. Maybe not yet. Like, wait till you to draft a big star and then go for that. But I think that'll happen down the way. Especially with like, I mean, the Senators are a prime example. They're changing their logos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's actually one of the things. It's like, okay, that's probably good because sometimes like the NHL's obsession with nostalgia is a bit much, but sometimes it's good, and in that case, it's good. So I mean, that logo is pretty cool. I like the Seattle logo. I think
Yeah,
it's best part of this.
that I think with a lot of people, I think you said this to me that it grew on you. Like,
Well, it would grew me real fast because the first time I looked
oh,
at it, I was just like, this
I
is
hated
weird,
it.
and it kind of looks like the Boston Red Sox S.
Oh,
But like everybody's done that thing where it's like, oh, it looks like this S from whatever. Like
yeah.
just holding
For
up
me, it was
signs.
the
Like,
S
oh, it
that
looks like an S.
everyone drew
Yeah,
at school, which I
it's
was
like the three
also like
lines. Yeah.
when I made that video and then put it up. A few people commented on it like, "Oh, I forgot about that S," and then I was like, "Thank God that landed," because I was thinking when I was editing it, is this
Yeah.
some weird Australian thing that we did?
We remember. Everyone did it. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, no
Someone
one.
should do like a deep dive. That should be like a Netflix documentary. It was probably
Good
some kind
idea.
of like cult or something or
Yeah,
whatever. But it's just like it just happened one day. It was just like I was in like seventh grade, and everyone's started drawing this stupid S, little three
Yeah,
lines, and each other three lines on the bottom, and you connect them.
but yeah,
Anyway,
I
yeah,
originally
it's
really
good.
hated this logo, and now the more I look into it, I really like it. I really like this logo. There's not, yeah, I think it's one of the better logos in the league. And the red eye does a lot for it. The small tentacle. There's a lot going on in a small piece. And when you see the jerseys, which are just unbelievable, like once I
They're
can get
real
one of
good.
them. Yeah, and the little anchors. I like the anchor that also has the Seattle needle in it as the point.
Yeah,
It's so good. It's so good.
yeah, yep, yeah. I'm a big fan of like when cities use like specific landmarks in their logos and stuff like that.
Mm,
That really like individualizes the jersey. It doesn't. It's not like obnoxious.
no, no, it's a very subtle thing to make the anchor that, but it does tie it all together. It's very well done. I watched a video on the graphic designer that talked about it, and it's the most jerk off thing I've ever watched in
Oh yeah,
my
it's
life.
just these
Like the
these
bottom S
self-important artists.
represents, yeah,
Shit. Oh, and then
yeah,
as you're looking at the S and you're looking at the details and the curves and the points, the squid arm in the negative space grabs your ankle and you're fucked. Like, no,
and
dude,
as you
it's
can
just
see
an
by the
S.
top part of the S,
It's just an S.
it's a real nod to the Industrial Revolution. Like it's just this. It's like,
No,
man,
it's
it's an
not.
S. Like
It's
let's just
just an
calm down.
S. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's seriously just it's the same thing on both sides. Like, okay, it doesn't look like your S. It's just a fucking S. It's a letter in the alphabet in the English out. We get it. It's an S. Can we move on? The color scheme is real good. I know a lot of people hate it because it's four different shades of blue, um,
yeah.
plus red, which
If
I
the
guess
blue,
they modeled after to make you happy. They modeled after the tugboats or
yes,
whatever.
so happy.
I
It
know a lot of people were hoping that they would use that like obnoxious neon Seattle green
green,
that the
yeah.
other teams in the city use, but again I like it. I like this red better than like the red on the Golden Knights jerseys, which just
Mm,
doesn't fit, which I hated from day one, and still like I've gotten used to it or whatever because I know it has like the weird like velvet pattern in it or
yeah,
whatever. It's like textured, but it's just like it doesn't go. Or this, it does kind of like break up all the blue because like you just have like one kind of color palette
yeah.
where
And
Vegas is kind of all over the place.
it is still very identifiably Seattle. They've done a good. Oh, the other thing with the S too
Yeah.
that I've got to mention is a nod to the Metropolitans, which were the first team in the NHL too.
Right,
Um,
yeah, and that they're gonna like they haven't even unveiled their third and fourth jerseys yet, which I think one will
oh,
probably be like just a direct Metropolitans jersey.
and the other one's going to be like this squid.
The other one's they're definitely gonna lean into the
I'm
Kraken thing on
I'm
one of them
fine
for
with that.
sure.
Go nuts
Yeah,
with the
like
third
whatever. Put
jerseys.
tentacles all over it. Who cares? Like they're not gonna
Yeah,
wear it regularly. We
yeah.
like
It'll
the
be some.
original jerseys.
If you make an ugly jersey, and this has been absolute. If you make an ugly jersey, it will have a cult following in 20 years.
Uh, hello, Kachina Coyotes. Yep.
Yep. Well, I would say, um, so I've got a video coming out. It's pretty much three-quarters done, where I rate every single jersey logo that the Penguins have ever had, rank it from high to low. And I looked at a few other video, and then I was like, has anyone else done this? And they've done it for the logos, but not for all the jersey logos. And obviously, there's a lot more jersey logos. So going through all that, the Robo Penguin ranks really high, which shocked me.
Yeah, they're well, dude. Pittsburgh thrives on the what my coworker Mike likes to call the nostalgia industrial complex. So
Right.
we everyone like hated that jersey when I was a kid, and now it's like the
Yep.
most sought after jersey on eBay and shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and like yeah, but I'm like a
It's
poor judge of this because I'm attached to it. So like when I look at it, I'm like, damn, that looks good.
Well,
But
that was my first ever jersey. My mum bought me that, but I hate it.
well, they were
I
the first kind of ones that were really like mass produced because like in the early '90s, like
Yeah.
people didn't wear jerseys to games. That was kind of a like they sold them, but they were more rare. Or like you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
Everyone wore
weird thing
suits
people
and it
didn't
was their
do.
day out.
Yeah, like that shit didn't kind of take off until like people wore like game gear, like they wore like Penguin sweatshirts and shit, like the
Hmm.
starter jackets to games. But like wearing jerseys to games is like a true mid '90s thing when that really started, and like those jerseys were the ones kind of one of the pioneers of that.
With that, yeah. But I was surprised, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you can make an ugly jersey that everyone hates now. In 20 years' time, you can make that your third jersey again, and everyone will froth over it,
Yeah.
and they'll buy it. They'll
Well,
buy it.
here's a, I there's a I think that they're and like from what I think Rossi or somebody kind of reported on this that like before the pandemic they were already kind of toying around with bringing maybe that and the diagonal Pittsburgh jersey back.
That'd be good. The diagonal Pittsburgh would when
Again, another
when we
like
go back to the
dumb
yeah
jersey that has a lot of nostalgia attached to it
when this
because of
team
Snoop Dogg.
wanted to be New York.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone that does that is just you're just copying off the Rangers, who were copying off of
Yeah.
another team in the 20s or whatever. Who cares at
The
this
the
point? It's just like
the
whatever.
that Pittsburgh where it's written across ranks quite low. The worst is because I said every jersey logo in Pittsburgh, so the Pittsburgh Pirates count as well, and they had
That
one
was a
that
sweet fucking logo.
they had three jersey logos, and one of them looks terrible. It is so bad. It looks like it comes from the 80s, but it was in the 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the other two that are pretty good. They have two other ones that are really good, and they have one that's just a complete wet fart. um. So yeah. So you're overall optimistic about this franchise.
Yeah. And I don't think any team benefits from the flat cap more than they will. Like this pandemic has been
Oh
great for
yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah, I had to play around with it with the draft next year that they get, and there are some names. There are some names that they are going to get, and they can just do whatever they want. Like they really can just do whatever they want.
Yep. And Ronnie Francis will have money now to play around with too, and
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what he does.
yeah, but they'll definitely be able to get some good, especially goaltenders. Like have a look for a lot. I think this will be a lot of movement this year with teams moving stuff so they don't have to give away a good piece for free. But obviously, yeah, like what's going to be available? Like some of these cheaper clubs, if they want to splash the cash, are going to be able to pick up some players on the cheap because obviously getting a third overall pick is better than nothing. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's going to be interesting. But yeah, hats off to them. Pretty stoked for that franchise. Can't wait to see them on the ice. And the second I can get that jersey, which will, if the Vegas Golden Knights is anything to go by, it will take 3 years before I'll be able to get it in Australia. So yeah. Uh, Eastern Conference predictions for the
Here,
play-ins.
here we go, baby. We
Yeah.
are T minus less than 48 hours from like actual games, even though they don't count. The exhibition
I'm
games start on
live.
Tuesday
Yeah, we're live
from the bubble.
streaming. Oh, I'm live streaming the play the not the play in the. I'll try live stream as much as I can, just because they do pretty well. But I'll be live streaming that Penguins Flyers game, so that'll be because it's on before I go to work. So, um,
Yeah.
where do we want to start? Where do you want to head to? What game? What game interests you? We'll do the Penguins last because I mean that
Yeah.
we'll be able to waffle on for 48 minutes about
What? How good? How great Jack Johnson's looked in camp so
oh
far? Is that what? Because that's what
no
everyone else is talking about that
no
had access to practice.
no
Um, let's start New York, Carolina, because that one
love it.
interests me the most as far as like watchability. Again,
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for that series. I have no idea how it's gonna go. I think by the end of this, I'll make a prediction, but I think it's just pure guesswork.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I know that their record in New York this year was real bad, but
Mm.
I you know that was last year. I like when people talked about tried to do previews for these series using statistics from March and February. Like, it just doesn't matter
No,
anymore.
it doesn't. It's whoever can hit the ground running to start off with.
Yeah.
That's going to be what it is. I really think that this is going to be. Oh man, it has everything in the fact that the Rangers have a really fun mentality that they had towards the end of the season of just like, fuck it, we'll do whatever we can, screw our lineup, right? Like they were even though they lost a lot of games, they're an entertaining team to watch. But then you've got the Hurricanes, who have a better team and probably one of the better defenders. I mean, he would have been nominated for the Norris if he wasn't injured. Hamilton coming back, so, and a lot of their losses were with Hamilton out. So
Perhaps you didn't see the news today, then, I guess, that Douglas Hamilton is out for another 6 weeks, it seems.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah,
I knew that he had a small injury, but the team was downplaying it. So I was like, oh, it's one of those nothing things. I did miss that. Oh boy. Okay.
Weeks is the term that was used.
Weeks, yeah. So he ain't playing. Is pretty much what you're saying. Wow. Okay, so that does change a lot for me because this goaltending is not as good as the Rangers. Which I mean, I didn't think I would be saying that at the start of the season, but yeah, I think the Rangers might be able to do this.
You might be right.
I look at this offense. I'm looking at the Carolina team in front of me, and that offensive lineup just isn't Zibanejad and Panarin. Just doesn't have that, and I think they have a decent defense. Brady Shea might come back to haunt them, trading him away, but obviously, yeah, if he gets together.
Okay. Yeah, the Rangers statistically had like a bottom 5 defense all year. Like, they were like, as far as like defending in their own zone, like as far as moving the puck, like offensively, D'Angelo and Adam Fox's kind of late year come around were great for the team. But yeah, that like, and here I'm just gonna like, even with Dougie out, and it seems like Brett Pesce's not playing in the first game either. Like, I know that's tough, but even with those guys out, I still think that their defense and the way that team plays is still just like head and shoulders defensively above where the Rangers are. And when you put the offenses side by side, I don't know. I might give the edge to the Rangers, but like I still like Aho and Svechnikov a lot, especially the year that Svechnikov was having. So yeah, I'm taking. I'm gonna take Carolina in 5, just purely going on them getting decent goaltending and playing the way that they can, and just kind of exposing a lot of the Rangers' weaknesses on defense.
See, I think it's going to be Rangers in 5. I think that Carolina will hands down be the better team throughout the series, but they have a history of outshooting opponents and not sticking that dagger in. And I think it's going to come back to haunt them. Because this team can counterpunch. I mean, a lot of their scoring has been by counterpunch, and I just think, I think Rangers in 5.
Well, it's the first time we've disagreed on the winner, so
yeah,
there's a start.
Yeah, there's something.
I'm looking at our list from last week, and we all picked the same team, so
yeah, and we're pretty close with that.
Real interesting.
Yeah. I was going to say Hurricanes, but I said Hamilton's out, and I'm like, nope, that goes my whole
I know,
speech.
That's a tough one to overcome, and weeks too. So it's like, it doesn't sound like there's any way that he could come back in this series.
Then again, you look at that Rangers defense, and you just see names like Mark Stoll, and you're like, do I have to stay with the Rangers here?
Yeah.
I think they have good goaltending. I think they'll be able to squeak something out. I think that'll be a fun series, man. I really think that'll be a fun series. Oh, the other thing is the Carolina Hurricanes goaltending. Like, it's just, do you trust Mrazek or Reimer?
That's my issue. Is like, they're so night and day, and like I imagine that the Rangers are going to start Shesterkin instead of Lundqvist, but like never doubt the ability of an NHL club to completely pander to veterans, especially one like Henrik Lundqvist. Like if they start
Yeah.
him, I don't know, man. That's like an almost automatic loss in game one for them. I feel like at this point in Hank's career with their defense, like look, Shesterkin just put up magical numbers and bailed them out. Same with the other goalie. They're going to carry like 9 goalies to camp.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, like unless one of those guys bails them out again, it's just tough.
Yeah. All right. So at least we've differed on that one. But I do you agree that you think there'll be a fun series?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this is going to be like I think it's probably going to go to 5.
Mm.
This will be like the guaranteed 5 out of all the series. The most interesting to watch. I think they're the most evenly matched teams.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of chance for just random to come. Like we don't know. Like there could be a star in the making or a real breakout player this series that I think yeah, whichever team wins will be on the back of some breakout performance.
Yeah. And there's also the most potential for like a bunch of like 8-4 games in this too.
Yeah, that's true. And plus, Spotify DJ extraordinaires have been a jad.
Lots of good hair, lots of good flow.
Yeah. Which series do you want next, buddy? Where do you wanna head to?
Let's go from the top to the down to the bottom. The New York Hockey
Island.
Islanders against the who
Yeah.
cares Florida Panthers. Do,
Well,
do we even care about this series? Like,
yeah,
what?
because of Hubert Owl. That's yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Let's not, you know. Um. Oh man, the only thing. I mean, it's the system of the Islanders, which, by the way, credit to them for being. I mean, they obviously swept the Penguins last year, and everyone thought, yeah, they won't be able to do what they did last year again. And they're back in another spot here to ruin parties for other teams. So I want to give credit to the Islanders. Man, the Panthers have to win this. They don't have a choice. There's so much
Yeah.
pressure on them. I don't think they will be able to do it. I think the Islanders are still like last year, are just playing with found money. There's not a huge amount of pressure, except obviously internally what they put on themselves. But externally, like if they win a series, their fan base is going to be wrapped. With that, it's not going to be anything where the Panthers are just going to be like, if they win a series, it's like good, finally. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that this team is the Islanders are going to be able to play a lot more freely. They have they have some goodish names. I can't imagine that their defense is.
They have 2 and/or 3 goodish names.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like the way that they play.
It's Barry Trotz. It's Barry
Yeah,
Trotz.
Barry Trotz. It's
It's
hard.
Mitch Korn. It's Barry Trotz. It's magical goaltending. That's who the Islanders are right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. And Pajot was pretty good for them. Brassard kind of found himself again there
yeah.
ish. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So what? How many games?
Man, I'm thinking this system versus, I mean, no system. um, it might be a sweep.
Wow, you're picking the Islanders in 3, huh?
Might be.
Okay.
It might be. Bobrovsky is having his off year. Next year he'll be lights out. This team will be able to go deep, but it's his off year. I don't like their defense. I think Ekblad is one of the worst first overall picks in recent memory. He's not terrible, but for first overall, not great. And like, just this offense can never seem to click at a consistent rate, except for maybe 2 weeks a year. This team is very shades of Buffalo. They go hot for a bit and then they go really cold, and I just can't see them jumping in and doing what they need to do here. I actually think, against this system, they're going to struggle to score. They're going to get frustrated. They've got pressure on them. Once they lose one, they'll lose the other two.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of pressure at this point that Florida has, other than like internally, though. You know what I mean? Like they're not in exactly a market that like has been craving a win. They're a market that's just like this team has sucked for so long, we just don't care.
Yeah.
I like Ekblad a lot. Like I don't think he's the offensive force that a lot of people thought he was going to be when they drafted him, but like Matheson is like a capable defenseman. They have some guys there, and like they've had a lot of like misfit toys come there, same as like the Islanders that have kind of returned their career around a little bit, like Frank Toronto and Nola Chari. Like a lot of these guys have just kind of shown up. Right. Yeah, and he was pretty good for them this year.
Yeah.
Dadonov had another good year. Not great. Like nobody had a great year there,
Mm-mm.
but it's Florida. Like other than Huberdeau, who had his best year there so far. Barkov had a bit of a down year, and like the biggest glaring problem, like you said, is Bobrovsky and like who he's going to be. Is he the 900 goaltender we saw throughout the season, or is he like the 938 guy that he was last year in Columbus? And like again, I come back to like this is a whole new season kind of thing. So like just looking at this fresh, even though they traded away Trocheck for like I didn't like the return on that. I thought Trocheck was kind of important to them. I don't know. I just have this like my head is telling me that the Islanders should win this in like 4, but I'm gonna pick the Panthers in 5. Because,
wow, so we're really out of here thus far.
We're on opposite sides of the fence so far, and just. I'm feeling just like Elliot Friedman would have a lot of time for me right now, Brent, because I'm using my gut. This is gut feelings. As one of the 201 hockey men, I trust my feels that the Florida Panthers are gonna pull this out with their superior talent. And,
I think
that's all I got to say about that.
I think the gut feeling for the Florida Panthers in playoffs is diarrhea.
It's definitely indigestion, yeah.
You can tell I thought of that joke before because I was giggling for a good 30 seconds waiting for you so I can make my diarrhea joke.
Oh wow! Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, let's run on. Plus, I'd like to see him in the playoffs just so Everly can get to go again. Go that little guy. It's the battle of the free agent goalies, by the way. There'll be some articles on that. Once one team wins and one, because Varlamov and Bobrovsky, they were both free agents at the same time, weren't they?
Yeah, and Grice.
Grice was definitely a free agent at the end of this year.
Yeah.
So Rotkin is probably going to win the Calder next year. So
he can go back to Germany or wherever.
Yeah. I think he'll find somewhere. Not at 3.
Someone will be desperate enough.
No one's paying that 3.3 price tag, but he'll be able to find
somewhere. Someone will pay him.
Yeah. Probably Buffalo. They're always trying to get it back up to be their starter for $4 million, and then wonder why it doesn't work, and then do it all over again. Wow, I can't believe. Yeah, so we're two. I thought we would have agreed on that one. I really thought that you would have been anti the Panthers. Okay.
I have a feeling that we might not agree on this next one either.
Yeah, I've got it. Oh, actually, we might have the same feeling. So there we go. I took a lot of the runway for that series, so I'll let you start with the Leafs and the Jackets here.
Okay. So it's the Blue Jackets, right? They're getting Josh Anderson back.
Mm-hmm.
Probably their most physical, effective player. He's like Tom Wilson, but good.
Mm-hmm. Tom Wilson.
Could never miss an opportunity.
Yeah.
Other than that, baby, is there just a bunch of nothing on this team? Sorry, all due respect, Pierre-Luc Dubois. I think you're an excellent player, and with like competent wingers or center, like you know that line could be great. Maybe Alexis Lafreniere next year, but maybe not. I don't know. Like this series has kind of been compared a lot to the Blue Jackets versus Tampa of last year. And I
Which,
think Tampa was a superior team to this Toronto team with superior goaltending. Like Freddie is just a notorious slow starter for the Maple Leafs.
mm,
And like I said, man, this is like a whole new year, and they're gonna have to figure out their goaltending next year. And it's not like they have a competent defense in front of him to make up for it. Like this is another like high-powered, fast offense against a real blue-collar, like just annoying, like hard to play against LA Kings type team that's just like gonna really buckle down in the neutral zone. They're not gonna give Matthews or Marner, like a little guy like Marner, Nylander, like those guys aren't gonna get shit. Like
mm-hmm.
for Toronto to win this series, they're really gonna need the Nick Robertsons and the Kasperi Kapanens of the world to like really play big.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Again, this is another like head versus heart issue. Like my head's like, look, this Elvis Merzlikins was magic beans in the second half of the year. I mean,
It really was.
like this dude is not an NHL goaltender. We saw it when Teddy Bluger just eliminated him.
Yeah.
Eunice Corpusalo, this guy he's your starter. I don't know. And then they have like some other Latvian dude with an S at the end of his name.
Yeah.
That played like 3 games, but like if they can just play their game and get competent goaltending, I think that they might have a chance to take this. And we all know how Toronto is just they're just love to blow things at the last minute. So I'm going BJ's in 5.
We are agreeing. But also there is a little bit of me that like just wants to see that
Yeah.
market
For sure.
crumble.
Like, I mean, come on. This
'Cause-
is the we need consistency in this league, and Toronto fans suffering is
oh,
that sweet nectar that I need to survive.
what do you think they would do if they lost the Leafs? Because I reckon they'll do something outrageous in the offseason if they lost.
Oh man. Well, I mean, they're definitely gonna like. I mean, I don't know how they're so cap stricken. Like they'd have to trade a couple
Oh,
guys, like Kapanen, whoever, to get capable goaltending from wherever you find that these days. Maybe they sign Thomas Greiss to a really cheap deal and just keep kicking the can down the road.
yeah.
They don't have real prospects as far as I know.
Yeah. I
It's
wonder
tough.
I wonder if they trade away someone like Nylander for like a Furland so they can play, get that pressure to be like, oh, you need to play with a little bit of grit. And then they just regret that move.
I don't see
I
the organization doing that. Like that would be, I think, a panic move.
yeah,
A Jim Rutherford signing
yes,
Jack Johnson to a 5-year fucking
oh,
contract move. So
God, yeah,
yeah,
just
I don't see them doing that. But no, you're probably right. It would be something dumb.
yeah, be something dumb. I really think that this team. If I have to sit here, well, skill versus wheel. If I have to hear that again, I'll kill myself. I'll literally just jump off my
For
balcony.
sure. Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, like this isn't like a bunch of dumb heavy dudes just like playing physical and heart and all that bullshit. Like
just
Columbus
set-
is like their talent lies in the fact that like most of their team they're really skilled at playing a grinder sort of game. Like they have like 4 third lines. I mean, they might have like one kind of 1B kind of first line with Dubois and Atkinson, and
yeah,
then like the rest of their lines are just really good at playing that grinded out game. But even like Dubois plays that bigger game too, and like they're really good at slowing the game down. And like against
it's
a
a
team
bit
like the Maple Leafs, like if you slow those guys down,
that it has been shown for the last few years. If they don't play the way that they want to play, they really struggle. And
they
I
implode. They
they
implode. They absolutely implode.
and this team is gonna. I mean, Leafs might win, but they're gonna have to work for every goal. There's nothing that's gonna be easy. I
Yeah.
think looking at Dubois and Boone Jenner, I think those two are going to be really key for this team in getting that scoring going. If Jenner has a good series, gets a couple in, I think that's going to be huge. And I mean, they've probably got one of the best defenders in the league in Seth Jones. Like,
Yeah, that top pairing with Jones and Morensky is like chef's kiss good. Like
Yeah,
that's probably your second pair, if not your first pair, in China in 2022 for the U.S. in the Olympics. Like that,
yeah,
those
probably,
guys,
yeah,
incredible. So
yeah,
yeah, like they're a really good defensive team. With a really workman-like attitude with guys, that kind of score by committee. And they play a system really well, even though John Tortorella is their coach. So, like, for that reason, I don't want them to win. This is a real, like, lose-lose situation, no matter what happens.
yeah.
There's kind of like, But now that we've been talking about it, I'm kind of, like, I'm much more excited about this series than I was before.
I was pretty. I mean, it's the car crash, right? Like you just want to
Yeah,
see what.
you can't
It's
live with
more. It's not so
whatever
much this
this is going to be.
series. It's the implications after this series that you want to
Yeah.
watch.
Yep.
That's it. Especially if Toronto lose, because I reckon they'll do something. I reckon there'll be a bunch of pressure and they'll do something dumb.
But here's the thing with if Toronto does win, and I think they should.
Yeah,
I'll
they
say
should.
that. Like
Yes.
they should absolutely win this series. Uh, More than likely, you know who they're facing in
Yeah.
the quote unquote first
And then
round
they'll
of the
lose again.
playoffs
Yeah.
is
That's the thing.
Boston. Like who
If
doesn't want that again?
if they win this, it means it does not release the pressure valve at all.
Yeah,
It does
makes
it.
it that much worse.
Yeah, like they have to get past that first round this year. Where if they lose, man,
Bless
it's
you, Doug.
pitchforks.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. It's torches and pitchforks again, and like everyone is demanding that they trade Nylander again.
yeah, yeah. What's that
And
foreigner still doing here?
God, it'll be so good. So good, Brendan. So good.
All right, let's do it. Let's get to it.
Canadians in three, baby.
Canadians 3.
Lose for Lafreniere.
This is gonna be the most one-sided curb stomping that there has ever been in a series, and
Yeah,
I'm just dropping that. The Canadians are terrible.
they're not
The
good.
anyone who's writing about them is like, will they have a chance if Carey Price is the greatest goalie of all time? And the second that you are writing about one player and one player only, it's not going well. I
It's
mean,
not
don't
great.
get me wrong. If the Penguins can lose to themselves, but they.
Yeah, and they're fully capable of pulling a Toronto and just imploding if things don't go their way in like the first game. But
Mm,
yeah, no, this is probably gonna be a short one.
yeah.
And like you're right though. Like, but I've seen even more than the Carey Price thing. Like I saw people like smart people that I respect putting up graphs of shot share and like shot contributions and like it favors Montreal this year and they're giving the edge to Montreal for shit again that happened in February and March and even earlier when the Penguins were playing with like a top line of like
Oh
uh,
yeah.
it was Malkin and then uh, Gensel and then it wasn't Gensel and it was just fucking nobody,
And then yeah,
no defense. Jack Johnson was on the top pair. Like,
yeah,
don't give me that shit. Just
yeah.
I don't like.
And
I
they're
don't want to
still
hear it.
winning games. They're still finding a way to
Right?
win games.
Yeah.
Like,
You're
I mean,
gutting
that
it
was
out.
magic beans, but
And like the only thing that that probably plays against them, and we've seen this magic trick too many times, where like the Penguins go through adversity, and then like all of a sudden they get real good at the end of the year, or like
yeah.
or not real good, but like they get a bunch of people back, and they're like, oh, we're just gonna fucking sleepwalk our way through this shit. And they'll go out there night one and get lit up like 8-1. Murray will have a bad game, and it's just fucking over. And you'll know because that'll be what it is. Like they're gonna get shellacked, and like there's gonna be a goalie controversy, and they're just gonna implode. And we'll know right then that like we should all get our Lafreniere jerseys ordered ahead of time.
Oh, that's the other thing with
It's
this.
done.
That like if the Penguins lose, it's like, yeah, it's fine. We'll just get a Lafreniere jersey. Man, so that's the one thing. Like, I think this franchise is better with the whole. They won 2 cups with goalies changing both times, right? Like, Fleury and Murray both won series in that first cup, and they kept swapping each other out. So I think if Murray has a bad game, they will put Jari in. If he
Yeah.
does well, or at least average, I think that's okay.
5-game series. You kind of have to just make your decision after one game.
You do, you really do. It's not like either of them have really stood up in these scrimmage matches either to give them
No.
a game leeway, right? I
Uh,
just,
I'd give the edge to Jari.
yeah, that's
Murray
what I.
has looked like flat out bad at some points, but he's also looked really good at some points too. So
Yeah,
like we know that they're gonna start Murray,
yeah,
whether they should or not. That's another discussion, but
yeah.
there will be a controversy. I think no matter what.
This team is just too stacked. There's just way too many goals. I mean, I really like this third line of McCann, Marlowe, and Hornquist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Patrick Marlowe might have looked, and again, like these are scrimmages. It's the team, your team
Mm,
versus your team.
yeah.
But Marlowe's probably been like one of the best forwards
Yep.
of the entire camp, and like
Yep.
he's looked fast, and like this dude is. We know that whole intangible factor and how that works on teams, and Marlowe is. It certainly seems like a really lovable guy that they're gonna win one for the Gipper kind of thing. They love to do that shit. So yeah, like, and he's still real good. Like he's a real good hockey player who can create and he can move up too. Like if Zucker's not working on that Malkin line, which looks like, man, they looked real good together, but for with whatever reason, you can slide Marlowe up there, and you already know that he was pretty good with Malkin at one point. So
Yeah.
and then you've got Jason Zucker on your third line, which is like, okay, cool, like we're doing all right. Uh, and the fourth line, I think I'm just as excited about the offense coming from the fourth line with Bluger and Tanev.
Yeah.
And with Zach Aston Reese, who was the statistically best defensive forward in the entire league last year. So
Yeah. And they're defensively responsible as well. They do their job as the fourth line and get those. If you can get a fourth line that is defensively responsible and scores a goal, that
they're
it sucks
really
the
good at taking
wind
their own defensive prowess and turning it into offense, which is
offense.
like the mark of like I think that's just like an elite fourth line. That is
Yep.
like if you asked any coach what they wanted out of their fourth line to be able to like
That'd be it.
turn an elite offensive prowess into offense to create chances and set up for your first line again.
Mm.
I think that's what they do. They do it well, and they are going to score some big goals in the playoffs if this team is going to do anything. So yeah, and like again, more importantly, you have a healthy defense core that includes Dumoulin and John Marino, both at 100%. So
And
you don't
Letang.
have to play Jack Johnson with Chris Letang
Yeah.
and turn him into an absolute boat anchor.
The one player, I mean, I'll give Montreal something that if they do win, it will be by hook or by crook. That they would have got a few bounces, and I think Nick Suzuki will be a real key player for them.
Oh, for sure. Suzuki and Brendan Gallagher, who's an elite defensive forward in his own right, who's also a pain in the ass to play against. And, like, again, you just never know where the Penguins are mentally. Like,
Yeah,
a player like that can easily get an Evgeny Malkin off his game. And I think he'll probably be matched up against him.
I also the other thing that I say about this, if things don't work out for a period, or if they lose a game, the Penguins, this is they can change things. They can change the goalie. They can change some of the lines, the way they're set up. They can move forwards up. They can do things to reinvigorate the team, or this is not working in the game format against this team. We can do stuff. I don't think Montreal, it needs to go perfect. There isn't a backup for the goalie. There isn't there isn't a defensive shuffle. There aren't forward lines that they can move up and down that are going to make a real impact. It really is that this has to be the perfect storm for them to win. I just don't see it. Definitely not in 7 games. It would be the 5 games. Yeah, fluke really.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm taking Penguins in 4.
Ooh, I'm taking Penguins in 3.
3. Yeah. I feel like going in 3, but I
Yeah.
never count on this team to sweep anybody just because
I
it's
know.
not in their nature.
Yeah.
They'll probably win the first 2, lose.
They
in
won't be playing at
Montreal
home, so
whatever.
that's the
Right. Yeah.
they won't
in
have a
fake
sealer at
Montreal. It's true. That helps. That does help.
It does help. Is there anything else you wanted to chat about today? Anything you wanted to hit on? Any final thoughts?
No, I think we covered everything. There's been a lot going on, and like it's only gonna get heftier, Brenton. Hefty. Games will be have played by the next time we convene on this podcast.
Yeah.
We'll have actual games to talk about.
Oh, the NHL has just announced team rosters for Phase 4. No one.
Yeah, I did see that. No big surprises.
Yeah,
that
I'm
I
not
could
seeing any
see.
tweet. Oh, the only thing is Victor Hedman's out. Won't be the flight to Toronto for personal reasons for a few days.
Yeah, I don't. That's probably not a big deal. He probably won't even miss their exhibition game. And if he
I don't
does,
get how they're not in the bubble and then they're bringing other people into the.
that's where the issues are going to come. Like I feel like with the low number of positive tests that they had,
Yep.
one of them being Corey Crawford, by the way, who came out and.
But also, he was on the bench. Like I'm calling absolute no. Yeah, like. Because I was covering that. And there was one point he was on the bench in training.
I don't know.
There's no way he had COVID and he was on the bench.
After he tested positive, they pulled him. I don't know.
But like it was like day 3 of like, is he going to be out there? Like it was so weird. And that would only be a week ago. So if they pulled him then, like he can't play. Yeah, I think shenanigans are afoot there.
Shenanigans.
I think shenanigans are afoot. But yeah. I wish the NHL had omissions or something like that. This roster just literally has everyone's name. And it's just like, great. So we're not gonna.
Like, what do you want me to look through this and do research? Just tell
Yeah.
me who's not
Well,
coming.
it's just that many names. Like you can't feasibly be like, oh, this person's. Like you just look. It just looks like a bunch of names. Cody Ceci. Lisa's screwed. Where would you rather? Should we hit to the mailbag very quickly before we punt?
Let's hit it.
Hit it. Loading it up.
That's what she said.
Loading it up. YouTube subscriber.
Oh, heyo.
Heyo. Chelsea
Not a big
writes.
deal.
I've only been a hockey fan for the last 2 years, and I found out recently that there was a lockout that stopped an entire season from happening.
Oh boy, Chelsea.
If the
till you
season
hear about this
happened,
one.
who do you think would have won?
Which lockout?
I'm assuming is the 05.
04? 04, 05.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who
was in the cup the year before? That was Flames and Tampa, right?
Yes. Man. Oh man, I really like that Flames team.
So did I.
That might have been. I mean, of course, I think they lost. There was a lot of veterans on that team, though.
Yeah, I remember
Joe
reading a book
Wooddyke.
about it recently, and it was like very much like they got a bit lucky. Like there's a few players in there that like well overproduced.
Yeah, but it was just want to see it, Iggy, get one, and that would have been the moment.
I mean, Ottawa made it into the final. That was the first final back, right? Was Ottawa Anaheim, or was that the final after?
That was after. That was 07. So 06 was the Flames. That was Jimmy Rutherford taking the Hurricanes.
Oh, the Hurricanes.
The Hurricanes and Oilers. So it's just like the most like what.
Yeah,
that was when we weren't really sure what the game was going to be after return to play. Like that was just kind of a weird year.
Yeah.
I just like I don't know. Calgary had such a for 2004. I mean, it's like Jamie McLennan and Billy Niemanen.
Yeah.
Blair Betts, just all these names, but there's there again. Aginla was the top scorer by 40 fucking points. So
yeah, they
weren't
there
going
were a
back.
bunch of people that overachieved.
Yeah, like didn't even overachieve. Like he just dragged that team into the playoffs. The next 73 points which again for that era, for a guy to score 41 goals, I mean that was like the tail end of the dead puck era,
Yeah,
right? And again, like it's 41 goals in 81 games. The next guy on the list, Craig Conroy with 47 points.
that was it. Yeah, that was
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
okay.
There was a
Not
lot going on.
as much as I'd love to see Calgary have won, it wasn't gonna happen.
No. I'm just loading up
It's
some
so
stuff.
tough to say because A, like I was 17, and B, it was such a different game. It was such a different game. That was very much like wouldn't even be like the LA Kings kind of team would win in those days because
Oh
it
yeah,
was even heavier than that.
yeah. Man, there's some real shit. Like leading goal scorer the season before, leading point scorer would be 75 points, and then the next would be 50. Really was the dead puck. I mean, did the Red did the Red Wings the year after have like Shanahan and all that? I'm just taking a look here now at '05.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna
my
say
like. If you're
Shanahan.
gonna
I'm gonna
take
say
a
the Red
guess,
Wings.
yeah, the
The Red
Red
Wings.
Wings are always a good guess for any years between like any time in the 50s through the like 1970, and then like 95 through 2008. Like if you were to like who the best team is, it's probably the Red Wings.
Oh my god,
They are as spoiled, if not more, than Penguin fans. So
yeah, I'm
it's
thinking.
probably the Red Wings.
I'm thinking then Datsuk, Zetterberg, Shanahan, Lidstrom, Holstrom, Eiserman, Chris Draper. Yeah, nah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's that. There, yeah. If you were to play like fantasy out there, I looked at the Flyers. Nothing really. I think they did pretty well in the dead puck, but obviously stuff started opening up a little bit more.
Oh
This
yeah, Brett Hall was still he was on that
Brett
team.
Hull, yeah.
Shanahan, Iserman, yeah, Zetterberg, yeah, no, dude, they should have won.
Yeah,
Lidstrom, yeah, come on,
good question.
yeah, it is. Yeah, just and now that I'm so far removed from 2008 and 2009, get a kind of fond nostalgia. That's my level, like that's of nostalgia for hockey is like when the Red Wings just they were so fucking just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So good in an era where like
Oh,
they kind of defied like they're aside from Holmstrom like they didn't really have a bunch of guys who were like real like they weren't just like big lugs that would knock you over and even with him like he was really good
mm.
still he was a good hockey player oh they were so good it's so annoying like how they acquired that much talent too.
Yeah, oh, they just kept getting it. I think the Penguins really stole a cup when they won, when they didn't lose back to back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 2009 like probably shouldn't like that game 7 was some pure magic
Oh yeah, Talbot
by Marc
scoring.
Andre Fleury and Max Talbot like that was incredible. Like, losing Sid halfway through the game
Game, yeah.
that
When
should have been an omen like oh
who was
this
it
is
that hit the post with 2 minutes 14 to go? It was like Cleary or one of their D.
yeah it was Dan Cleary
Dan
yeah
Cleary, yeah, hit the post. And I remember because I was watching that live, and you're just like, oh no, that's it,
peeing a little.
that's it. Because you knew if that got to overtime, the Penguins weren't winning. Like,
Oh there's no way yeah.
nah, the Red Wings were just going there. I watched I watched that DVD, like the DVD, and then you see like Eaton on, on the team, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot that you were,
Mark
you were a
Eaton.
Penguin. Yeah, Mark Eaton. Yeah, yeah.
Boy.
That's my like. You completely forget that dude won a cup.
Yeah. But again, like the Stanley Cup champion Carolina Hurricanes, they just dismantled uh, less than 3 years after they won their Stanley Cup in four
Yeah.
games. Like that was the best. Well, not the best series, but like it's the most fun to think about.
Oh,
It causes me zero stress because Evgeny Malkin
yeah. I was
he
gonna say
just burned them alive
Malkin.
immediately. Like just
Yeah,
blew through them like a tornado.
yeah.
They
That
just could not
was
stop him.
Malkin. Just went.
Yeah.
I'm doing whatever I want. I'll never forget that when he went behind the net and like backhanded it, no
Oh,
look.
the curl drag
Yeah,
backhand top shelf. Oh my god,
yeah.
that's probably one of my
I've
all-time favorite
I've
goals.
tried to do that in hockey and in floorball many times in training, and I cannot lift it that high and be it that accurate. Like I just don't have the strength to be going one way and flicking it up with the speed that he was able to do that in. It's unbelievable. Like just go try do that. Like
Yeah.
no goalie or anything, just try do it.
Dude,
It's ridiculous.
he earned the Conn Smythe that year.
Yeah. Oh, that was so. I remember that series. Um,
Good times.
yeah, that was good. Anyway, that was the only question I had, unless there was anything else on your end.
No, no,
No.
this has been a pretty succinct episode. We've gotten a lot done.
Yeah.
I feel
Well, there's
like,
actually been
just
news.
gonna do the
We haven't
old
had to
dust off
waffle
the
on.
hands. Yeah, no, there's a lot of news. It's heavy with hockey heavy this
Uh,
week, which is good because the rest of the world is still on fire. So,
yep. Yep. As in Australia, we have one eye on a possible lockdown again. So yay.
yep.
Not good. Not good. But you know what? There's an exhibition game on a Wednesday morning for me, but Tuesday night for everyone else in Canada and in the Americas and Europe and everywhere else listening. So that's super exciting. There'll be a live stream on our It's Hockey Night YouTube channel. I'll just be watching that at like 4 a.m. with my eyes just hanging out of my head. It'll be great. Fuck the Flyers.
Hell yes. We're in for a whole month of just hockey, noon to midnight, and I just cannot wait. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
fuck Philly.
Yeah. You know they're going to win that game, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And there will be chaos in the streets here. And
There
it's
will
fine.
be, yeah. There'll be panic and then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's starting in net? Do you know? Why did they
Yeah, this is the goalie. It's going to be Murray. Like, he would have had to have been real bad in this little training camp, and he was bad. Like, I won't sugarcoat it. In a lot of instances,
Yeah.
particularly the first two games, but by the third game, it seemed like he kind of settled in. He gave up one really bad goal um, to Marlowe,
Hmm.
I think it was, and then that's kind of it. But again, you always feel silly talking about trying to truly analyze a scrimmage, but they were pretty wound up. Like it was
Yeah.
game intensity minus the hitting, and even there was some of that. Tanev and McCann got in a fight, so that was
Yeah.
a whole
Which is
thing.
just
But
like, oh boy.
yeah, no, I'll be shocked if it's not Murray in game one against Montreal. What happens from there is up to him.
I meant against Philly. Who's in
Well,
net?
yeah, but against Philly, that's what I mean. Whoever starts against Philly, unless
Do you
again,
reckon they
unless
alternate it?
he gets shelled against Philly in that game, it'll still be him in
Well,
Montreal.
do you think they alternate like they do in the preseason games?
Maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
It's an odd one. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, so we got games. We got games, people. It's happening. They're all into the bubble. I'm sure they're about to all test positive in the next 24 hours, and then we find
Yeah,
out.
all this will be moot. It'll be
Yeah,
canceled by the next podcast. So it's whatever.
yeah. Or the Pittsburgh Penguins have mumps again, or something. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if the Penguins have spread mumps through the league again.
Bring a whole new disease into the
Yeah.
bubble. It'll be great.
The Minnesota Wild seem to have cholera.
Dysentery, actually. It's strange. Where they
As
were
every
hiking on
team
the Oregon
flew in,
Trail to get here. I don't know.
as everyone, flew in, they seem to take, this trail and then a boat here. Where there weren't enough oranges on the boat, so they all have scurvy. Oh, so good. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Games really soon. You did like this, you can review it. Otherwise, we have a YouTube channel. It's a hockey night. Slowly, people are subscribing, and I'm not making videos for no one, so that's making me feel good. You can follow me at Twitter at GoBrentYourself. You can follow him on Twitter at
Yinzer_chic.
Yinzer. Yeah, that's it. I was like, it's not Pittsburgh, it's something. Yinzer. And Instagram as well. He has a good Instagram. It's mostly his dog now.
It's all dog shit now,
It
which
was
is, I mean, who
better
doesn't
when
want good dog content?
It's better than not the dog. But yeah, have you named the dog yet?
No, I'm getting there. It's between Tamer and Hattie at this point, I think. Tamer, obviously, because I'm a shill, and I was 7 years old, and Chris Tamer was my favorite penguin. And then Hattie for like hat trick, and also it's a Egyptian history thing too. It's a long story.
Comes
I'll
from
figure it out. By the next episode, I'll have a name for this dumb dog that
there we go.
likes to chew on my shoes.
Well, if it's Hattie, then you're naming it after cricket, so I'll remember that forever.
That
That's
works.
Patrick started. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching, listening, watching, whatever you're doing. This is obviously on YouTube as well. But yeah, have a great day. See you and bye. Enjoy
Fuck
the
the
game.
entirety of Philly. All of it.